Welcome back to Power On Weekly, hosted by your boy, Irving Legend, and your girl, Allie Mayhem. And making his return, we have
Special guest.
Steve Granado joining us again. Steve, welcome.
It's your boy again. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't want to say your boy because I just stole your thing.
Dang.
I don't want to. Dang.
First, he was going to steal my headsets because he has the same ones.
Yeah.
Now
might as
he's
well.
stealing.
I had the
your
headset.
Mm.
I had the Steel series, and I was like, I can't steal the vibe over there.
Can't steal
but
his
we're chilling,
thunder.
we're good.
Well, Steve, welcome back. Thank you for joining us once again.
Dude, I'm stoked. Let's get into it. I'm always so excited.
Yeah, and we've got a couple things to talk about today. We're going to talk about the Halo Infinite delay, unfortunate delay.
Oof.
Yeah, and we're also going to talk with the community again on our question of the week. So let's get started. Halo Infinite has been delayed, everybody, to 2021. First of all, I want to ask, were any of you surprised?
Yes, I
Yeah?
was.
Yeah, I was surprised. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that hit for sure. And I was not. I think I yelled when it popped up on my phone. I just went, "Crap!" I was like, "No, not Halo!" Like, oh, I was so excited. But,
A yell that rang across the entire country, I think.
I just didn't.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah, I
didn't
think
see
you
it
guys heard it.
coming. Like
Mhm.
I think so many other projects, I wasn't surprised, but like I don't know, with like what they showed and stuff, they seemed so confident in their release, and there were no indicators to me that they were going to delay it or that there was any reason to delay it.
Yeah.
Even with like people kind of being like, oh, the graphics aren't quite up to par, it still looked great and it still seemed good enough that I don't know, they just didn't give any cracks in the performance when they were like announcing it and showing it. So I just didn't see it coming.
Yeah, I too was really surprised. I remember we woke up and I looked at you and I was like, Halo's delayed. Like, what the heck? So we did get a statement from Chris Lee, and at the beginning of the statement, this is how he starts. Today, I want to share an important Halo Infinite development update with the community. We have made the difficult decision to shift our release to 2021 to ensure the team has adequate time to deliver a Halo game experience that meets our vision. And they went into it and they kind of said it was a lot to do with like just COVID, working from home. And it's been really not hard, but just it's created more challenges than anything. And they made a decision to change it. This is insane, right? This is Halo was supposed to be their flagship title for Series X.
It's the launch game. That's why it's such a big deal, I think.
Yeah, and now that it's not, like, what is Series X supposed to do? Like, Steve, what do you think? What is your opinion? Like, where does Series X stand right now as a launch console?
I mean, I got a lot of ideas here. I got a lot of thoughts, and they come in like multiple factions and different viewpoints here. So the obvious one is this sucks. Like, it totally sucks. We obviously want Halo. We obviously want this to come out at launch. Was it going to be a system seller? Maybe. I don't know. I think with the cloud gaming stuff, which we've talked about extensively, and you guys have talked about extensively, I don't know if it was like necessarily like super had to come out to sell the console. I think a lot of people were going to go PlayStation regardless. But here's the thing. I want you to think back to 2013.
Okay.
When the Xbox One came out.
Yeah.
And what a terrible launch that was, right?
Yes.
I bought it day one. I didn't buy the day one, but I bought it day one. I went out and found one. I went to like 4 different stores to find it. But I ended up finding it at Target. The first game that like was the big game was Rise Son of Rome.
Oh my lord.
So like, who cares, right?
Yeah.
Like, who's playing Rise Son of Rome right now? Nobody is playing that game.
We're still waiting for the sequel, Steve.
I don't even know what that is.
It was fine. Like, it was okay. It was a launch title. Like, that's what I bought with it. So it was like the $520 or whatever it was for the Xbox One, giant one that you guys have, the black one. I upgraded to the 1S on a Black Friday deal.
Nice.
And then I bought Son of Rome. And so like, I'm getting out of there at like $600, right? Like, plus tax, whatever. And I was a junior in college. So like, that was a lot of money. Still is, but regardless. So like, launch titles matter? Like, they do. Like, obviously Halo would have I don't know. I guess it would have sold some consoles, sure. Like on the nostalgia factor alone, just like, oh, a new Halo, especially because we only got one for this generation, and it wasn't a great one.
Yeah.
Like I love the multiplayer for Halo 5, but like the story was such a letdown.
Yeah.
So is it like super necessary? I think in the short term, yeah. In the long term, no. Think of the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 3. Like they didn't come out of the gate hot, but they ended up making up that time. Xbox wanted to have that, but they didn't get the exclusives like Sony did. Like, what was the big exclusive for the Xbox One? Like Sunset Overdrive?
So yeah.
Oh,
Sunset
yeah.
I love
Overdrive,
that game. I thought it was super
nice.
fun, but like that was the big game, right? And like Scalebound was supposed to be.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah.
Like those were the big games. And Halo 5. Those were supposed to be the big games that were supposed to launch the Xbox. Well, not launch the Xbox One, but like take the Xbox One to that level. So it's the long game. Irving, we got into it last time. It's a long, like 6-7 years of a console generation. The first 5 months, like who cares? Like the Wii took a while to catch on, right? Like it takes a while. And like, well, I mean, right? Like, I mean, they had to get the games and it got the games.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, dude. Like you can't come out of the gate like super hot. And like the Xbox One didn't come out with it. What were the launch titles for PlayStation 4?
I think Killzone. There was a Killzone game.
Okay.
That's it.
Sure. Right? Like launch titles, like let's just be blunt, launch titles suck.
Yeah.
Usually. They usually do.
Oh yeah.
So what's Xbox Series X launching with?
So we do have a list of things that I put together, and we're gonna compare both. Actually, I want to compare both PlayStation and Xbox because tis the normal thing to do. But before we get into that, I do want to mention that it was kind of a surprise that Halo is being delayed, but I think the writing was on the wall if you really looked hard enough. Now, Ryan McCaffrey from IGN, longtime Xbox fan, he used to work at Xbox, did their showcase and everything, or he did like a show for them. He visited 343 before the reveal a while ago. And there he learned that ray tracing, which if you know, the Xbox Series X, that's one of the big marketing points for the Series X is having ray tracing. Ray tracing wasn't going to be at launch for Halo 5. And when he asked why not, they're like, oh, well, it's something that we're not really focused on and we're going to add it later as an update. Like before this was even announced, this was already being like talked about. That's kind of a big deal. So like my theory is that the reception that they got from the showcase wasn't fair. It wasn't that great, and putting more time into developing, cleaning up, like the polishing it up and all that other stuff would probably be beneficial for them. On top of that, now they have a chance to be able to do ray tracing, and if you think about it, it kind of takes the weight off their shoulders as far as launching on day one, right? Now they have
a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
a lot of pressure.
It releases a lot of pressure, and now they're like, you can release it in 3 months, 6. They can even release it an anniversary of the Series X if they wanted to, or next, 117. That it just kind of leaves the door open for a lot of things. Yeah,
I remember you guys were talking last week about kind of like delaying games just in general. And we're like, you guys were talking about like COVID, right? Like how it's here, dude. Like, and this is like, it's affecting it, and we're definitely feeling it now.
Yeah.
Definitely feeling it now.
I feel like a broken record by saying it, but all this does for me, as much as it sucks as a fan, is it gives me so much respect for a company and a development to make that tough decision. No company
huge
ever,
decision.
no company ever wants to delay their game. No company ever wants to disappoint their fans. But if they feel like releasing the game is going to be more of a disappointment and they're willing to take that initial financial hit, I have so much respect for that. Just because like we've said, the past 10 years of gaming, there's been so many games released that have been awful and have been a disappointment. And you know what? Once you have that initial impression, those people aren't coming back. I'm that person who, if you mess it up right out the gate, I feel like you don't have enough respect for your game to make that decision and delay things. I'm not coming back. Like Destiny's always been my big one. Yeah. I know I say it.
I know.
But I mean too, like look at Anthem. Anthem's never going to get that player base back, even if they make it an amazing, fabulous game.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah. I mean, all of these games, it's like if you I think game companies are starting to really learn that and are willing to make those decisions, because in the end it is going to benefit them and it is going to benefit their pockets,
Yeah.
because again, it gives you like a level of respect as a player for that company, and you know that what you're going to get is going to be polished and they've put the time and energy into it. So again, broken record, but I have so much respect for it.
Yeah.
I think the only one that is legitimately like saved face, and I hate to say it because I hate EA, but Battlefront 2. The game's good now. It's legit good. They fixed it. Like a miracle. EA fixed a game, but it's good. And like No Man's Sky's never going to recover. Like it is a better game now.
Yeah.
It absolutely is, but they're never going to recover from that. And like I guess Destiny, sure, like, but it has its it's a very dedicated fan base, right? But like EA somehow, some way fixed Battlefront. They did it. I play it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's fun and it's good and it's a legit good game.
Yeah.
So is it impossible to come back? No, the odds are super stacked against you though. So CD Projekt Red knew that. That's why they've delayed Cyberpunk
Always
twice.
Have. They're great.
Yeah, they know that. They know they can't come out cold. And 343 and Microsoft know that. Like they've screwed up so much over the last 6 years. They know they couldn't screw this Halo up, and they're like, we'd rather come out with nothing than come out with something bad. So it's the right decision. Ultimately, a couple more months, a year even, like what's that? Like it's fine. The game comes out and it's good. The game comes out and it's good.
It's a mix, right? It's a mix of things, I think. I think they've seen the terrible reception from other companies releasing unfinished games that weren't ready and seeing the effects of it. And then I mean, everything keeps tying back to conversations we've already had, so I don't want to beat a dead horse, but also it just goes back into their focus. Like this decision clearly makes the focus that, again, they know and they accept for so many reasons because of the pandemic, and just because of the competition with Sony and where they're moving their company, that this is probably going to be very similar to the Xbox One release, where they're not going to sell a ton of consoles out the gate. And I think, again, it goes into knowing that it takes that pressure off again, where it's like, it sucks. We want to release Halo, but the best decision we can do is to put more time into it and release it later. Like, I like the pressure being off their shoulders because...
Well, you think too, like, it's not just like the perception of the public, but think of the game designers, like the developers. Like, just think of, let's just go to Rockstar and go Red Dead Redemption 2 release, just like that scale of a game. And think what those, like, just from like a labor standpoint or from a union standpoint, how much those people have to work in 2017 about Red Dead, right? Like they are working their tails off to get that game finished. And they know they're going to have day one patches, day two patches, whatever. But like just from them, and then now you throw in a worldwide pandemic where they're forced to work from home, that makes everything harder. And so like the hours that those poor people have to put in, just the weight that just got lifted off of their shoulders so they can focus on getting the game right and not just focusing on getting it done. Like that's so huge, not just for us, the consumer, but for the worker. Like that's so important. People don't think about that too often, but like these are people that have to put countless hours and are gonna get underpaid for those hours, while 343 and Microsoft make buku bucks, right? So it is a labor problem too, and it's really important that we make sure, like, as consumers are like, make sure that these developers get treated correctly, and like this is the right move by Microsoft, this is the right move by 343 for all parties involved.
Definitely.
Well, because what company was it that was like in the past like year was outed for overworking? Was it Blizzard Activision?
It was Blizzard, yeah.
Yeah, where they overwork and they underpay their staff because
Mhm.
they're just trying to pump out content. And yeah, I mean, you constantly hear too about like these people who are joining these dream companies, and then the working environment isn't great, and you're getting treated like shit. Yeah, and so yeah, I think too what you're saying is absolutely valid, and the fact that they're taking some of that pressure off of their employees' shoulders with all the limitations and the hardship of trying to do all this stuff from home without probably all the equipment they need, good enough equipment, like the work environment they're used to being able to really thrive in. It's hard. I know so many people working from home right now that just talk about how it took them 2-3 months to get back to almost feeling normal because of having to learn how to do everything again in a different way without that kind of stress. Sometimes you think that you don't want that structured environment, but then when you're out of it, like it makes your job so much harder.
You need it.
So I can only imagine too with this, like how hard it's been for these developers.
At the end of the day, we're talking about a freaking video game. We're not talking about the cure for cancer. It can wait. We'll be fine.
Yeah,
It'll be okay.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah.
It's a game, man. We'll be fine.
Plus, I think I'd like to argue that we have more than enough games to suffice this holiday.
So many.
And like I have a list of games, but like this almost makes me feel better because now I don't have this like not anxiety, but just like, oh my god, this overwhelming feeling of like, I've got Cyberpunk, I've got what's it called, Destiny, and now I've got like Halo. Now I can like take my time with Cyberpunk, take my time with Destiny here and there. So and like you said, like launch titles aren't really that big of a deal, and there's enough games going around on both systems that like I don't think this would really be like a killer. So if we look down what we've got for launch on both Xbox and PlayStation, we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Dirt 5. We also have Watch Dogs Legion, obviously. On Xbox side, we have Yakuza Like a Dragon, Gears Tactics, and Tetris Effect, Medium, and Scorn. So those are good variety of games. 2 horror games.
It's fine.
Like
I'm not playing any of those, but yeah.
I'm stoked for Scorn and Medium, so I'm all about that.
Medium looks all right, but I get scared easily. So.
Yeah. And on PlayStation side, arguably they do have a better lineup with Spider-Man Miles Morales and Godfall, as well as every console of PlayStation 5 is pre-installed with Astro's Playroom, which is kind of like a glorified tech demo to show off what the DualSense is. I don't know if you've looked into that at all, Steve, but
no,
I'm
probably not going to get PlayStation out of the gate.
Okay.
The only thing that would make me do it is Miles Morales, but
yeah.
I mean, I love Spider-Man. We've talked about it. We know that, but I mean,
now Bug Snacks and Deathloop.
Snacks.
Woo, Bug Snacks.
Deathloop pretty cool though.
Yeah,
I was intrigued. It looked good, but
Yeah.
Bug Snacks probably not. Probably not for Steve.
Not a Steve Granado game. Okay.
No, it's not Bug Steve.
So like I said, we've got plenty of things to look forward to this holiday. We've got plenty of things to look forward to for launch of each system. But I think we've all said it before that Xbox isn't really worried about games at this point because they've got Game Pass and a library of games that people haven't even like touched on Game Pass. Like there's so many games
kind of like
on
Wii
there.
U, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like Wii U, like going over to Switch. It's like so many of those games could have been ported over to the Switch and still can be ported because a lot of people didn't play them. Like straight up never got a chance to play them because no one had the Wii U except for you.
Oh, wow.
Ironically.
Yeah.
Because we don't buy a lot of Nintendo consoles, so of course that's the one we get.
To be fair, we didn't buy it. We got it for Christmas. And we got I think Splatoon and Smash Bros. Edition. So I think that was a great deal. Oh my gosh, having those 2 games.
Yeah. Even though that console was trash.
Yeah, how's that Wii U? When's the last time you dusted that thing off?
It's up in a closet.
It's up. Yeah, we used it for Netflix and Hulu.
Until it died. Until it stopped playing.
And then now Netflix isn't even on Switch.
Right? Yeah, and that's a whole other
Don't even get me
conversation.
started.
Just YouTube.
Don't even get me started on their lack of apps.
I'm right there with you.
It actually makes me mad because I have it upstairs. Part of the reason I bought it was to be our home entertainment center to replace our Xbox 360 that still plays Netflix.
Oh yeah, but doesn't play YouTube.
But can't play YouTube for some reason. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah, we're constantly having to like switch through. It's
Switch.
Switch.
Nice.
All right. Very good.
Well, let's move on. All right. Now comes to question of the week this week. Hearing the Halo news and everything, I was thinking about Halo and just how amazing the music is and all that stuff. So that inspired me for this week's question of the week, which is, what video game has your favorite original soundtrack? What is your favorite song from it? We asked everybody on Twitter. Like I said, you can always follow us on Twitter at LxMDuo, and if you respond to our question of the week, it might be highlighted here on our podcast. So yeah, let's go right through them. We've got a couple of responses from this week. And so let's start from the top, I guess. So Teresa says Zelda. Obviously, I mean her Twitter handle is Zelda. Also, my favorite Zelda is Zelda's Lullaby. I also like Gerudo Valley and Fairy Fountain. All great choices. And I think it's funny that well, a little known fact is that she actually was proposed to by being serenaded with the harp of Zelda's Lullaby. Yes.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really nice. Yeah. Steve, are you fans of Legend of Zelda music?
Are you ready for this?
What?
I've never actually like played
Oh.
Zelda in any capacity aside from like the original Super Smash and like an hour and a half of Breath of the Wild.
Wow.
I have never been a Zelda dude.
I've never played Zelda either, but the music's so
All right.
the music is so iconic that I know it. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, I know it.
Yeah.
Sure. But I've
but
never.
I'm right there with you. I've never played any of them. I watched Irving play Wind Waker a bit, but that's about it.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
Here's another hot take. I did not like Breath of the Wild.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's like-
I thought it was super boring.
Dang. Well, yeah, I mean.
Hot takes by Steve.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, it's just so open. It's such an open world, and like
Too
the
open
whole
for
time
you?
I was walking, I was like, how
Walking
long do I need to
simulator?
walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't need to walk to just get killed by some giant Goomba looking thing, dude. Like,
I'm a big fan of Legend of Zelda. Ocarina of Time has one of the best soundtracks in my opinion. I have not played Breath of the Wild. I'm kind of nervous to play it just because of that reason that you just said right now, Steve. I can just
so much
walk around.
walking.
Yeah.
So much walking.
Yeah. So that's a great response. Adrian says Metroid series has one of my favorite soundtracks on top of it. On top of the little tracks like the save station music, and when you upgrade, can hear it in my head already. Metroid is a great franchise, and I love Metroid Prime, and I think that's what he's specifically like talking about here. And yeah, like save music, like save like a station where you just save, like that's so iconic. Like one of the things that I can think of off the top of my head is the save music in Resident Evil. Like the whole ambiance of the game is just terrifying, but as soon as you walk into a save room, it's so relaxing because you know nothing is going to kill you in there.
Is it like the warm embrace of safety and friendship?
Yeah,
It's cute.
pretty much.
Very cute.
Yeah. How about Metroid Prime, Steve? Or Metroid in general?
No, never touched. I've never been a huge, never been huge on Nintendo. I had like
Me either.
before I got the Switch. Last thing I had was the N64.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
I didn't
me
have the
too.
Wii. I didn't have the GameCube. I didn't have the Wii U. Unlike one person I know, and I didn't have a 3DS. I didn't touch Nintendo for years.
Wow.
I didn't touch Nintendo for like until like the last since like the last millennium, dude. Like
That's wild. Yeah, you're missing
Yeah.
out on a lot
No,
of.
I'm not- I mean,
great
I'm-
games.
I
I'm
missed
the
a lot of
same.
Nintendo.
I'm the same.
I
I
missed
mean,
a lot
I
of
had
Nintendo.
I had handhelds,
Mm.
occasional handheld, but I N64 for me as well. My mom always had a Nintendo console, but I never played any of the games on it.
I had I mean like the Game Boy Color was like the last thing really. Game Boy Color and N64 was really until I got the Switch. Or
Yeah.
on that side, that's the Switch.
Well, then you're definitely not going to know this next game. Alexa
A lot of
says
these.
Super Smash Bros. Melee. Maybe you did play
I did
Melee.
not play Melee.
Oh wow,
I
never
didn't
mind.
play Melee. No.
It hands
No.
it hands down has the best collection of music from all of the Nintendo franchises, but also has original music. It's the menu music, Battlefield, Final Destination, also the opening music. Me so hype. That one's a little bit of a cop out because of the stages. It does
It
have
has all
music
the
from.
It's fair, but yeah, it's almost too
bunch of-
fair.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's like now that's what I call video game music.
honestly.
Yeah, it is a sort of like a best of the best of
best of,
soundtracks.
absolutely.
Yeah. Like you said, now what I call music. Curious.
It's like that person who just can't narrow. Like, if you should pick that, you pick it because you can't narrow down.
Yeah.
There's got to be like one standout.
Oh, spoiler for my answer. Thanks, Alex.
Oh.
I can't narrow it.
But to be fair, the menu music in Super, it sounds so weird, but Super Smash Bros. Melee, like menu, the Battlefield, Final Destination, all very iconic. Vidi says Sonic Adventure Battle 2 or Adventure 2 Battle. I don't know how it was really pronounced, but Sonic Adventure in general, great game. Sonic Adventure 2, man, ask anybody in our group how many times we've sang.
That one song.
Yeah, yeah. Escape from the City, yeah. Remember they had it at karaoke.
Yeah, they did.
That was so crazy.
Let's not talk about this.
Sonic, how about you? How about you, Steve?
Dude, I was gonna get into that. I mean, the Sonic music is iconic. I love Sonic.
Yes.
Played so much Mania. But the one song from Sonic that to this day gives me nightmares and anxiety is the drowning.
I know it. Yeah, I knew what you were
before
gonna
you
say.
even said it, yeah.
It scares the daylights out of me, dude. Like I will like while playing Mania would still pause the game and put it down because that's how much anxiety it gives me. Like the amount of times I cried as like a 6-year-old when that happened, awful, absolutely awful. So like, yeah, it's that still haunts me. Still, I'm 27. It's been 21 years since that happened, and I'm
Jeez.
still like haunted by that song.
Oh, we know how to scare you now, just in the middle of the night when you're
Yeah.
coming home.
They're gonna put that in medium, dude. Just put that song in medium. We're like, nope, I'm done. I'm done.
Never playing this game. Yeah.
Turn it off. Return it. They have a Steam return policy. Just like, nope, we're done.
What is your reason for your return?
Sonic. What?
Brave Knight finally making his debut
Ooh, what
through
up?
Twitter. He says Donkey Kong Country has the greatest soundtrack of all time. This is an irrefutable fact. Listening to aquatic ambiance will take you to memories of your childhood that you thought you'd forgotten. I will be the first to say that I've never played Donkey Kong Country. I think I played the handheld, a handheld version of Donkey Kong. I don't remember which one. It was on Game Boy, but I mean, the aquatic ambiance is one of the most iconic songs in video game history. So, and Donkey Kong Country is one of the greatest games also on, from that franchise. Allie, were you a fan of aquatic?
I did actually play this because it came with my. I got the green Nintendo 64 bundle with this game in it.
Oh, cool.
So I do actually remember this song, which is funny because I don't remember the game at all. I remember the game was hard.
Yeah.
It was really hard. I didn't think I'd gotten far enough to listen to this track until I went back and I listened to it because I was like, what is this? And I do remember it, though. I do remember getting to that, like, after watching it, I did remember that stage. So, I mean, he's actually pretty right about memories you thought you'd forgotten because I had completely forgotten about that stage, that game, like, everything. And, like, watching it, I definitely, it's great. Yeah. No, it's a great, I don't remember the rest of the soundtrack, but that song.
Steve, another underwater section, another underwater game.
Underwater music. The underwater music.
Music
dude, I
outside.
can't. It's immediately crying.
It's over. Rona says, because Rona, Alexis doesn't have a Twitter, he just uses Rona. Rona says hers is Mario 64. Super Mario 64.
Yeah.
Great music in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Side note though, I want to say that Mario Sunshine has better music in my opinion. Yes.
Mario Sunshine, yeah.
Yeah. I think Mario Sunshine is one of the most underrated Mario games, and everyone always goes to.
Do you think they're
64.
making a second one? By the way, side note, like total sidebar. Do you think they're making a second one? Because like, did you see that teaser?
Yeah, where he's like on the beach or something like that.
It looks a little sunshiny. I'm just throwing that out there.
It does, but I think it's also just paying homage to an original like artwork that they had done like years ago. So it's paying homage to that. Where in the new artwork they got rid of his nipples. No nipples in this one, but in the original he did have it.
Mario. Free the nipple.
I would
been saying it for years.
I would love a Super Mario Sunshine 2 because they did sequels of like Galaxy and they did like 3D World and like they just went off and they did a bunch of games which they're all great. Odyssey is like one of the best selling Nintendo games on the Switch right now, but
so good.
I love Super Mario Sunshine just because of the mechanics of using blood and being able to just traverse through the world and like it's great. I love it. Do you want a sequel? Is that what you're asking?
I never played the first one, but I've definitely seen video of it and it looks really fun. The mechanics look really cool, and I mean, why not, dude? More Mario for all of us. Why not?
Yeah. What about you, Allie? I know you grew up with Sega, so your conversation's coming up in a bit, but would you like to see more Mario games, or you're just like, eh?
I mean, I'm pretty much like Team Mario Party, and that's about it.
That's about it.
I see the fun in them. I don't know though. Like, I don't play many Mario games, so it's not needed for me.
All right. Well, no Mario for Ali. Before we get to our picks, our three picks, I do want to go over a few highlights of just great soundtracks in general from music, from video games. Celeste has a
Yeah.
beautiful soundtrack. It's so good, and like it goes from very ambient, like very like moody, subtle like music, to very like intense, like you're being chased by a giant floating head ghost thing, and yeah, it's great. Obviously anything from Sonic and Mario, Sonic and
Sorry.
Mario,
Sario.
That's
Yeah.
that's the pair name, the OTP name.
Sario, yeah. Legend of Zelda, like I said, Ocarina of Time, Metroid Prime, Dark Souls 3. When Dark Souls 3 boss music hits,
It hits hard.
Yeah. We've been watching our good friend Brave Knight stream Dark Souls 3 on his Twitch, and it's brought back those memories of it's like first time playing through more Dark Souls 3, of just how intense it is and how memorable the boss fights were because of the music.
Brave Knight. That's a good Insta follow.
Yeah, go check him out. Brave Knight.
Free
Halo
plug.
is arguably one of the most iconic video game
Oh yeah.
soundtracks in modern times now, if you think
Gorgeous.
about it, because of Marty O'Donnell. Amazing composer, and he went on to go do compose for Destiny as well, which Destiny has beautiful music, really really good. And then like I said, Resident Evil Save Room, and then Ali wanted to plug in Jet Set Radio because anytime we could talk about
great
Jet
music.
Set, yeah.
Oh, dude, I didn't even think about Jet Set.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Jet Set has the funkiest music.
Yeah.
It's
So
so
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
It's so hip. It's so in the time it was made too, but
Yeah.
not in like a poppy way. It's just in like it
Yeah.
was very experimental and
Mhm.
very just it's cool. Like the music is
Jet
just
Set Remaster,
fun.
please and thank you.
We've been saying it. We've
say
been
it
advocating
I
it.
know.
forever.
I'm with you.
well, but that's the thing is that spiritual successor has
Mhm.
the original the guy doing the music for it. So like
Nice.
if you like the music from Jet Set like that, and that was part of what made that game for you,
Yeah.
like there's a
Bomb-
lot of hope in this
Bomb Rush,
in
Cyberpunk.
Bomb Rush, yeah. But yeah, no, that soundtrack is funky, it's unique, it's original, it's so cool. Love it.
So those are all original soundtracks for games, but there's also soundtracks in games that are also very iconic that use like actual real life music and stuff. Off the top of my head, when I was thinking about this, Tony Hawk, the original Tony Hawk and Tony Hawk Pro
dude.
Skater 2, like
So
everyone
good.
remembers it, like right, and like the
Oh,
fact
so good.
that they're
Uh-huh.
doing their remake, right, and they're having most of, if not all of, the original music, like that's
So
gonna hit
excited.
you real hard in the nostalgic feels.
Can't
What was your favorite track from Tony Hawk, Steve?
Dude, Superman, Goldfinger,
Of course.
absolutely. Like coming with that little ska funk, like yeah, dude, I still listen to that song. I follow Goldfinger on like YouTube and stuff. Like
That's cool.
I'm still into Goldfinger. I mean, those were the Tony Hawk. I mean, geez, dude, like defined a generation. Like
Mhm.
it made skating so mainstream and so cool. It brought it to like so many people's living rooms, including mine. Like I haven't like stood on a skateboard in forever, but still listen to the music, and I still watch skate videos, and I love Tony Hawk, just the person. He's such a cool dude. He's such like a good person.
Yeah.
And
Too
like,
bad nobody
like,
knows
cares
who
about
he
the
is when they
community.
meet him.
Wait, what?
Too
Yeah,
bad
and he's funny.
Nobody knows who
Yeah,
he
he's
is when
got a
they
great
meet
Twitter
him.
account.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk's great, dude. Tony Hawk's an icon. He's a legend
Yeah.
in so many different senses, including his music choices.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Everything about Tony Hawk, everything about him, I love him.
All right, next podcast we're just strictly Tony Hawk. If we continue down the list, GTA has always had an incredible soundtrack, mixing like
And a
original
variety.
music and just like music, like real world music. And I think GTA 5 was really the only one that I really got into, so that's my pick. But I know that even Vice City and GTA 4 had some amazing music on there. Midnight Club, and more specifically, Need for Speed Underground. Steve, were you an Underground fan? Need for Speed, the original Need
I
for
didn't
Speed?
play Underground. I think I played the first, though that was a launch title for Xbox One, whether the Need for Speed game,
Oh
like
no, I'm
the
talking.
Rivals or whatever that one.
Oh, yeah,
that was like the
Rivals.
only Need for. That's the only one I played, and I returned it.
Oh man, I'm gonna like with Need for Speed Underground. Like as soon as you boot that up, you just get Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. Like
Nice.
Everybody knows it. Whoever,
Nice.
if anyone listening right now remembers that game, they immediately thought about that.
Nice.
And then I just want to shout out a couple of other things like Bioshock, and Bioshock Infinite were really, really interesting ways that they took music from that era and made it like I'll always think about the time where I was in playing Bioshock and that song
Sandman.
how much is Mr. Sandman, yeah.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, that one, and just how horrifying it was to be in that room with like these mannequins, and like one moved and like the lights were flickered and now that mannequin's gone, and it was horrifying. So it's just really interesting how they twisted their music on that. And more in Bioshock Infinite, when they took, because of the game, it, spoilers, plays with reality and like different dimensions. They took music that wasn't made until later on, like the Beatles, and they changed it into like barbershop quartet music, and it was so cool. It was really interesting how they did it, and they also tied it in with the story beats, right? So huge shout out to that. And then the last thing I want to just say is this Rock Band and Guitar Hero. Anybody who grew up playing those games, they automatically know the set list. Everyone remembers, Through the Fire and the Flames on Guitar Hero 3. And Rock Band, to this day, when I sing karaoke, most of my songs are from the original Rock Band, including Reptilia from The Strokes.
Oh, is that all the ones that you chose? That's it?
Well, those are just soundtracks that I just think of off the top of my head. Do you have any more?
Those are the only games? You don't have any more games? Like, you don't want to list every game that's been released since 2009?
I just
or is that all?
These are just games that I think that really resonate with like a good majority of the people who grew up playing video games. Not only like in just one genre, but like a different variety of genre, right? So those are just some things that I was
those are all good.
of.
I'm just teasing you.
Oh, okay.
Well, and here's something that's not on your highlights that I didn't even think about for some reason, because you have your video games, and then for some reason I just always, even though I was so in the arcade life, I just space that when I think about things like this. And like all of the like is it Benami?
Yeah.
And stuff who did like Dance Dance Revolution, and there's some killer songs in those that maybe your mainstream at home gamer doesn't know, but like as like, as someone who was really into the arcades, like oh my gosh, like Night of Fire is like the Eurobeat intensifies. Like I was all about that growing up, and like those are original soundtracks that just are, I mean, obviously it's a music beat game, but the music was great. Night of Fire was great. Like Moonlight Shadow was a big one.
Yeah.
Like there's like just so many like of these like little short 2-minute long songs that are just fire. I don't know why, like when like talking about like this, like that probably would have been in some of my answers coming up, but like just like I think those deserve highlights, because like that kind of music doesn't get any attention, because the arcades, like especially like in America, like are just don't go to arcades anymore, and you kind of just, when you hear that music, it just takes you back to like that time, or like when we were in Japan, like the music they would have on those games were great, and like some would be from like an anime or a band, which kind of makes me sad, because that's definitely more of the way that I saw at the arcades, that's the direction they're going, instead of creating their own original music. Like the original music of like the like late 90s, early 2000s from those studios in Japan were just so good. A lot of them sounded kind of alike, no lie. I'll admit that. But like it was just great, fun, energetic music that made those games so fun to play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have a million. I have so many.
That's
I just want, before I like even say mine, can we just appreciate overall gaming music like over the last 5-6 years? Just like,
oh my
dude,
gosh, yeah.
like the game music and sound design.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like just even like you think like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4, like just sound design, like how much they go through to like capture the sounds of the guns and the grenades and like explosions and stuff. Like this is some top notch stuff, and they're doing like, we're so spoiled with how well these games are made now.
So spoiled.
But so mine, I have a few. Weird one, NBA Ballers. That hit my head. Such a weird game. I want an NBA Ballers remaster. But that game was like had some really good like early 2000s like hip hop stuff. like 2004, I think that came out. But the big ones for me, like as far as original soundtracks, Spider-Man PS4, like Paisano like crushed that. Like the main theme of that song.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Like as you're swinging through Manhattan and like hear the da 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 da. It's so like Sam Raimi Spider-Man. It's so good. And like the final battle, I'm not gonna spoil it. I know you haven't played it yet, but the final battle music is, oh my god, like it literally makes me tear up. Like it's so good. Like I've watched that on YouTube, like the playthrough of the final battle, like a movie, because it's so good. Like I will watch that and then watch like Doc Ock versus Tobey Maguire like on the subway.
Nice.
Like it's the same notes. And other one for me, like I was a big 2017 gamer here. Like all the single player games that came out in 2017 like hit me hard. Woody Jackson on Red Dead 2. I listen to Red Dead 2 regularly on Spotify. I will listen to that music when I'm getting ready in the morning, when I'm like out fishing or like anything. Like I like D'Angelo's on that. He's so good. Like the end of Red Dead 2 with the music, at least like the end of the main story before the epilogue. And even the epilogue, dude, like it's so epic, like very like Good and Bad the Ugly style.
Yeah.
Like it's so good, like spaghetti westerns. It's so good. Like the fact that like I can listen to that, like it's always on my like recently played on Spotify.
Nice.
Like that should tell you enough that music is so incredibly good. Like my girlfriend hates that I play that song. Like I will play it when I'm showering. Like that music is just so good, and like I will sing it. Like Unshaken is such an incredible track on that. American Venom is so good. Like there's, oh gosh, I can go on and on. We talked about Sonic a little bit. Sonic is just perfect, like perfect in every way. The original Sonic soundtrack is so perfect. Halo, obviously the main thing of Halo is perfect. But yeah, just overall, dude, like music and video games is just like you touched on Celeste. Like it's hard to me to think of like, oh, that was just bad music. Like they really, like these musicians really put their time, and these composers really put their time. The music in Battlefront 2,
Yeah.
like the EA one is freaking great, dude. Like it
Yeah.
really sucks you in. Even like the menu music is so good in that. I mean, I know it's just all John Williams, so it's kind of a cop out, but anything John Williams is perfect. So
Yeah.
it's really great to have that in a video game. It really sucks you in, and you can just be like Darth Maul, and you're just like, this is great.
Nice. Great
But yeah.
choices.
But Red Dead, but if I had to pick one, dude, Red Dead 2.
Red Dead 2.
I know I said that was my answer for like last question you posed to me, but Red Dead 2 is great.
Great choices, Steve. Now, Allie, what are your picks? Or pick, sorry.
Yeah, I know. We're like picking like 10,
Yeah.
I like all these 10 different games.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to do a
Yeah.
highlight, but yeah.
I have some highlights myself
Okay.
before I go into my pick. And just like when it comes to like Steve was talking about in the recent years, how good game music is. Everything that I've kind of picked has like that old school feel. Like as amazing as like actual like these big composed soundtracks are.
Yeah.
I just like really like it hits me in the feels when I hear that like kind of, 8-bit era or like 16-bit era like music where you hear what the limitations were.
Yeah.
And they just made such amazing music with it. And I think Undertale hit that old vibe, but like reignited it. And like that soundtrack is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's just so like there's like so many great like songs from there. Like Death by Glamour is super fun. His theme sounds like a little piano ballad, and I actually had that as my
Yes, you did.
as my like alarm clock to wake up in the morning because I thought it was so soothing and beautiful, and it was just a amazing way to wake up in the morning. And then of course Megalovania was like a breakout hit. Like it's one of the best songs ever created, but it still hits that kind of old school vibe in how they created it, and that was the whole aesthetic of the game. Additionally, Pokemon Red and Blue, I think just because I played them so much.
Yes, the battle music.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about Pokemon for me is there's no standout track. There's not one track that I'm like, I loved this track. I think as an overall soundtrack, though, it was amazing because it had all this music that flowed in a story. Every single music kind of was able to flow into the next track, and it felt very, very natural. And it's a game where you hear the same music, like the battle music, over and over again, but it never got boring. I never got tired
I'm
of
gonna
hearing
interrupt
it.
you.
Yeah,
real
go for
quick.
it.
I want you to like close your eyes, and I want you to think right now. You hear, wait, what? What's happening? Eevee's evolving, and you dun 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 dun, and you're just like, oh my god, it's evolving! Like that feeling.
Yes.
That song is like connected to that feeling, or like you walk into the Poke Centers.
And that is the thing, is
It's so good.
You don't necessarily have like a standout track, but it all works so well together, and that is what I love about it. And you do like exactly, you can close your eyes and you can see what's happening on your screen when
It's
you
that
hear
feeling
certain
it gives
music.
you.
Yeah, so I think as like an overall soundtrack, like the Pokemon game did so well. I never got tired of listening to that music. I heard it over and over and over and over and over, and it was just, they did so good on making it all just mesh together into one fluid, like a fluid story.
Yeah.
Without getting repetitive and boring. But everything still sounded unique enough. But
For sure.
when it comes to my pick and my favorite original soundtrack, it's hands down the original Sonic game.
Yeah.
Like, I know
Yeah.
Steve mentioned that earlier. Hands down, that, like, it's a very short soundtrack now that I really look it up.
Mhm.
You can listen to every single song in half an hour.
Yeah.
But every single track is just completely unique. And
Mhm.
again, with the limitations of the time, I think what they did was so great. Like, every track sounded unique. It sounded different. It sounded clean. And like, of course, like I said, I wasn't a big Nintendo fan. So like for me, it brings back that nostalgia factor. And my standout song by far is Starlight Zone, which I don't think gets as much
Ooh.
respect as it should.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, like I never hear anyone talk about how amazing Starlight Zone is. It literally, like, it totally embodies the track name. Like, it's just so magical, and think of the nighttime and the sky. Like it's just, I don't know. There's always just been
Green
something
Hills,
so magic about that song for me.
right? Green Hills is the one that gets like the
Yes.
obvious like big
Yeah.
bump because
Which
it's the first one. But
Makes sense because it is. It's the track everyone knows. If anyone's ever played Sonic, you at least play through the first
Mhm.
round. So like it is, I think it is definitely the most iconic. And Starlight Zone is one of the very last levels. I mean, you have a lot of people who maybe never even got to that. But I mean,
oh, even Ali, before even you get to the music, Sega,
Oh.
how like huge is that? Like that's everything. Like when you're a kid too in the 90s and you hear that and you're like, oh my god, it's about to go down. Like,
well, and
let's go.
even the theme, the din, 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 like that moved into
Yeah.
like the movie and the like, or the TV show. Like I remember it being
Oh,
the theme
Did
of
you
the TV
watch
show.
the movie? Did
No.
you see the movie
We haven't
before the
seen
world
it.
ended?
No,
No.
we haven't
Oh my
seen
gosh,
it.
dude. They spoiler, well, not really a spoiler, but like after like the climax and everything resolves, there's like a little piano ballad of the original theme.
Yeah, see,
And
it's iconic.
It hit me and I was like, oh my god. I was like, Ben Schwartz just destroyed this movie, like in a good way, and like Jim Carrey crushed it, and then this little piano ballad, and I was like, oh, that's it. I was like, I'm in. I bought it.
Nice.
See, and I think that's the thing, is for the time and for like the limitations of music, I think that Sega just they nailed it. Like I said, every track was unique. It felt distinct and different on its own. Like you don't think of one track and go, well, that sounds a lot like this. Like everyone is like completely distinct. And like I said, like I liked Starlight Zone so much, I almost made it like the song I walked down to at our wedding, is like how much I love that song.
Wow.
Yeah,
We're
or had
saying
my
something.
bridesmaids. Like, yeah, I mean, it's like, I think it's just like such a great song. And like I said, like just the whole soundtrack in general, I don't know, like you always hear so much praise. Like the Mario music is great, Nintendo is fantastic, but I don't think anyone, I feel like you don't ever really hear that appreciation for Sonic and how
Well, just in general
great it
too.
was.
Like you don't like when you're playing a video game, right? Like you're not necessarily thinking about how the music is making you feel, like in
No.
general. Like you're usually focused on the gameplay, especially depending on the game. But like when you go back and rethink, like you think about like a movie, you think of it in the same way. You hear a song and it takes you back to that time. It's like in real life, right? You think and you hear the song that you danced to at your prom or whatever, like that takes you back to that time. Or like, well, this was my high school girlfriend and I song. Like you think about that, and the video games do the same thing. Like the music is so important. We just don't ever really talk about it. So
Yeah.
like when I hear Sonic, I know where I was, and I hear all the Red Dead music. Like I remember how I felt. Like that, it touches your feeling, right? It hits you in the core, and like it makes the experience. You're not even realizing it's happening, but when you go back and relive it, you go, "Oh my god, that's what really hit me." Like the storytelling, sure, or how like the game played, sure, but ultimately the sounds are what takes you back into that time.
No, absolutely. No, because like I every time I hear Sonic, I think about being in my grandpa's living room every
Mhm.
time. And two, like it's these songs that when you're a kid, you don't realize you're hearing it so much that you're actually starting to memorize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like 20 years later, I hadn't played, I haven't played, if I hadn't played Sonic in 10 years, I can put that music on and I can hum the entire tune. Like it's
Yeah.
this like a subliminal, like unintentional thing
Yeah.
that like you said, like you don't think about it at the time, but you hear it so much, you start to memorize it, and it starts to like I said, then when you hear it, it takes you right back to that, and you know every note, and you know because you heard it so much without even realizing it. So
I just realized
it's
you're wearing a
crazy.
Sonic shirt.
Yeah, I did it for my
Should
answer.
do her answer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Dang, spoilers.
I was like, I wonder if anyone will catch on.
Yeah. Nice.
Guess
Nice.
who?
Steve caught on.
Nice. All right, Irving, what are yours?
Well, I did highlight a lot of great music that over the years, I've always really enjoyed, and kind of touching on what Steve said, I like you're right. Like I'm gonna reiterate what you said, but like yeah, like it's so important that like music is almost like the unsung hero of video games, where it's like so like subconsciously, not even like like you're not even consciously thinking about it, but
No.
subconsciously it's all there. It's all being like you said, like absorbed. And when you think about these songs and hear back these music, you do go you literally get transported back in time. So, and yeah, just sound design in general, like is just where it's gotten incredible.
It's awesome.
I completely 100% agree with you on so, and this is kind of why I wanted to bring this, why I wanted to ask this question, right? Because it's more of like just a highlight of just how incredible music can be in video games. It was really apparent when I was working this week, and I was just I have just music just playing on the as I'm driving between houses here and there and all that stuff, and this song came up from Insane in the Rain is what the group is called. They do just a bunch of music that's just super ambiotic. Is that a word? I don't know.
Sure.
But and the song that came up was the Halo ODST Difference from Darkness for Darkness, which their version is called Rain, and they take like 2 or 3 songs from the ODST soundtrack and they kind of mix it into one. And oh my lord, it's a beautiful song. And I told Alyssa, I was like once it was, I legit shed a tear because I forgot how incredible that soundtrack is and how much I loved it. Now, Halo ODST was one of the like not really. It was a really overlooked game, right? Not everyone. It wasn't Chief. He's not the star, so it's kind of
Doesn't get the attention
yeah
at all.
In my opinion, it doesn't get the attention that it deserves, and the music is partly why I love it so much. It's got very Blade Runner-esque vibes. Like, I love Blade Runner. It's my favorite movie of all time. And just the music in Blade Runner is so incredible as well, which movies in general, we'll talk about another day. But this game made me feel the way I felt when I watched Blade Runner, and I love that. So Insane in the Rain's version, like I said, of Difference for Darkness, aka Rain, please go listen to it. It is an incredible song. I love it so much. So that's this whole podcast was just for that. No, just kidding.
Well, it does say something too, though, that like as we age, we're starting to understand like how important music was in these games developments and these games histories. Because too, you've got like all these great concerts now. Like there's that whole Video Games Live concert that tours every year, and it's all just these amazing creations of.
What about the Game Awards too?
Game
right?
Awards,
like that, like for the Game of the Year, like and for the 2017 Game of the Year when they did all of that with God of War and Red Dead and Celeste, like and that's the full orchestra, like, yeah, the Game Awards are a little nerdy by like default. Like it's a little like pretty cringy in general, but like that part, like I will watch for that part.
Definitely. Yeah.
For sure. Also, just throwing this one out there real quick, the Overwatch theme. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
Or wait, the Overwatch competitive theme.
Oh.
You know it's
No.
on, dude. It's on. Like, let's go. I am ready to drop some SR right now. Like, I'm so down with that. Like, you're like eating a sandwich and like scrolling Instagram, and then
And
you
it's
just
like,
you know, it's
burn.
like, "Bah." You're like, okay, here we go. I'm ready.
That's a whole mix of emotions you've got going on right there.
just, like, okay. Please let me get Farah. Please let me get Farah. We need a mercy right now.
Yeah. Overwatch, I think, is something that I
Hate. Yes.
Like, no. So here's
Me
the
too.
thing. Like, I have fond memories of Overwatch. You know, we have fond memories of Overwatch in the beginning, and you know, playing because in the beginning everybody was new.
Yes.
Everyone didn't really give a shit. Like, sorry, anyone didn't really care, or like, you know, not everyone didn't take it too seriously. It was genuinely fun, and playing with a group of friends was so much fun. But I think what made it even more fun was the music, because the music is incredible. Every stage has great music, and I know some of your favorites.
So heroic.
Yeah.
I always like immediately get excited and start singing when I hear Eichenwald and Oasis. Like,
Yeah.
oh, and New Bonnie.
Numbani, yeah.
That was like an inside joke for us for like
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
And every time I
Yeah.
just belt it
Oh,
out. But like, oh wait,
Route 66
genuinely Oasis. Yes, that's another. Those ones are like memey, but like
Yeah.
genuinely Oasis and Eichenwald, I think, are just like, I just enjoy them. Like I get like super hyped when that stage comes on and I hear that
Yeah.
music. So
Yeah, and I'll always, despite of where the direction of the game has gotten and where it's going with Overwatch 2 and everything, I'll always have fond memories of, especially us three playing, because I mean,
Yeah.
we met on
That's how we
Overwatch,
met.
and yeah,
Yeah.
so like and the music obviously is a big part of that game, so I'm glad that
Well, all the
We have
sound
that
design
memories,
of that,
yeah.
right?
oh
all
yeah,
the
it's
sound
great.
design.
yeah, the whole the
Just
headshot,
that shit.
is a reverse hit of a bottle. Did you know that?
Is that really?
Yeah, it's
It's
they
such
hit
a good sound.
They hit
You know
a
what? Now
bottle
that you
and they
say it, I
reverse
hear
it.
it though. I can hear a dink.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah,
fun
nice.
fact, yeah.
Good catch.
Sound design is amazing. A whole other conversation, but
Yeah.
like how they do sound design is just unbelievable.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Unbelievable.
But I want to know what you guys think. What is your, if you didn't have a chance to respond to our Twitter question, I want to know what your guys' favorite original soundtrack from a video game is and what song from it. Let us know in the comments below, and yeah, we'll talk in the comments. But that's all we have for this week's episode of Power On Weekly.
Yeah, not a lot of news. A
Um,
whole lot of chat though.
Yeah, I like having these conversations, and you know, there's some other things that went down this week, including Cyberpunk and stuff, but some of it was pretty redundant, and we've already talked about
We
it.
saw
so-
more Cyberpunk. End of news.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. We saw more about Cyberpunk, and I'm excited for it, and I'm glad that
Yeah.
Halo got delayed, so then I can play Cyberpunk.
There you go.
Yeah,
Nice.
I said it. But once
Hot
again,
takes by Irving.
hot takes by Irving, hot takes by Steve. Steve, thank you so much for joining us once
Thank
again.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude, anytime. Had tons of fun as always.
yeah. Until next time, I guess. We will
see y'all
you
next week.
I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Bye.
Nice.
I was gonna go until next time.
Oh, no, you can't do
Yeah, I
that.
know. That's what I was
Steve!
like.